Compromise of 1850 was meant to be a set of laws that resolved the territory and slave problems, but not everyone had the same thoughts and ideas. The men at the Compromise argued quite frequently and insulted each other often. The most important of these men were Daniel Webster, Henry Clay, John C. Calhoun, Stephen Douglas, and Jefferson Davis.
Yeah, I tuned into the Compromise of 1850. Did I like it? Nope. No one could decide on a single thing. I personally am not for the North or the South. I'm for the great country of America. And I want America to be united. So I thought it was only right to decide that we should create and establish a Fugitive Slave Act. This act would return missing slaves back to the owners.
The Fugitive Slave Act drove abolitionists hostile to the point where one man mauled Daniel Webster with his own cane. It took him a whole 2 years to recover.
Huh? Give me a picture, please.
But Daniel wasn't the only one who thought the Fugitive Slave Act would be a good solution.
Why is this problem escalated to the point where we need a war? I just don't understand it. Yes, I want the Fugitive Slave Act. I want it. I just really don't want the nation to split up over something as stupid as this.
Henry was a strong Unionist. He didn't care much for slavery. All he wanted was the nation to stay united. Other people at the Compromise were more for slavery and wanted to split away from the nation.
Well, I like slavery. I think the South will be able to decide whether they have slavery or not. We don't need the North anyways. I would do all I can to keep slaves in the South. I don't want war. I don't want violence. And I don't want the slaves to leave the South.
John C., as you can see, was for slavery. No one really wanted war, that's why they came up with the Compromise of 1850. But problems have gotten a bit too big.
Wait a minute. Did you just call me big?
Stephen Douglas was also neither for South or North. He believed deeply in democracy and also the Dred Scott decision, which was a controversial argument between a slave who went to a free state with his owner and wanted to have a trial for his freedom.
Yes, sirree. I believe in democracy. It's one of the many things that make this country so great. Besides Twinkies. Yes. The Dred Scott decision was indeed a tough one. I can't remember exactly, but some of the men held strong arguments. But by the end of the discussion, Dred Scott was sent back to slavery.
Stephen Douglas was a strong speaker for the Dred Scott decision, but he also had many political counter-arguments against him. Not everyone agreed with the things he had to say. One of many was Jefferson Davis.
At one time, I was president of the Confederate States of America. It's not that I wanted war to come. Actually, I wanted peace between the two sides. Seceding from the nation was actually one of the last things I wanted to do. I wish I could find a way to have both of the nations be united. But I don't think there's any way now.
In the end, the Compromise of 1850 really didn't matter. Both sides of our separated nation engaged in what is now known as a Civil War, a war in which more American soldiers have died than any other war. 620,000 men died for abolishing slavery. Daniel Webster, January 19, 1782 to October 24, 1852. He supported the Fugitive Slave Law. He couldn't call himself a Northerner or a Southerner, but instead referred to himself as an American. He died in Massachusetts while enjoying a nice horse ride. Fell off the horse, and it kicked him in the head. Henry Clay, April 12, 1777 to January 29, 1852. He also supported the Fugitive Slave Law and didn't care much for slavery. He was a Unionist, and he died naturally in Washington, D.C. at the age of 75. John C. Calhoun, March 18, 1782 to March 31, 1850. He supported slavery and was 100% Southern. He died shortly after the Compromise with a bad case of tuberculosis. Stephen Douglas, March 23, 1813 to June 13, 1861. He did not care if slavery was voted up or down, and he died after battling throat cancer. Jefferson Davis, June 3, 1808 to December 6, 1889. He was the President of the Confederate States of America. He was against secession, but took it as a last resort. He later went to jail for treason. He died naturally in his home. We now look back at these 5 historical figures who forever changed American history. This was the Compromise of 1850.
Yeah, I tuned into the Yes, sirree. I believe in democracy. It's one of the things that...
Cut. Yeah, turn it.
You hit me directly in the neck. Oh my god, dude, that was so amazing. That hurt so bad.